and welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I'm pruning some hydrangeas. Hydrangeas are personal flowers for me. They were my great-grandmother's favorite flower. She planted a lot of them in her house when we were growing up, so I really love them. Every time I see one, it reminds me of her. Today's video is another working video, so while I prune, I'll share some tips on taking care of your hydrangeas. I'll give you 6 tips on watering, the types of soil that are suitable for hydrangeas, fertilizing, how much sunlight you must give them, how to care for them in winter, and finally how to prune them, as I'm going to be doing today. So my first tip is about the soil. Hydrangeas grow best in well-draining soil. But don't worry, if that doesn't sound like the type of soil that you have in your backyard, you will need to amend your soil with compost or peat moss to improve the drainage and add some more nutrients to your soil. Once you've planted your seedlings, you can also add a layer of mulch around the base of the plants, because this can help the plant to retain moisture, and then you can also help regulate the soil temperature, especially during the hot summer months, because the mulch will provide some shade from the soil to reduce evaporation. Now that you know the type of soil that your hydrangeas will prefer, you need to choose a perfect spot in your garden for your hydrangea. Most hydrangeas prefer partial shade, especially during the hotter part of the day. Too much sun can literally cook the leaves of your flowers, so it's best to plant your hydrangeas in an area that gets morning sun and a little bit of afternoon shade. But it also depends on the type and variety of your hydrangeas. Some varieties can tolerate full sun, but you will still need to do some research in terms of the type of hydrangea that you are growing and the ideal conditions, because you don't want to put your plant in a spot where it won't grow to be healthy and give you beautiful blooms. We've covered the type of soil you're going to need, plus the perfect spot, the way you're going to put your hydrangea in your garden. Now let's look at how you're going to water your plant as it grows. Your hydrangeas will need regular watering, especially in the summer where the weather is hot, and every time you water your plants, then the water just evaporates and leaves the soil dry. So if you live in South Africa like me, the summer months can be particularly harsh on hydrangeas. So it's important to water them deeply and frequently so that you keep the soil consistently moist. But, be careful not to overwater them, as this can lead to root rot and some other nasty issues that you don't want to deal with in your garden. Now for tip number 4, when it comes to fertilizing your hydrangeas, you need to fertilize them once a year in early spring with a slow release fertilizer. This will provide a steady supply of nutrients throughout the growing season. So avoid over fertilizing, because this will only make the plant to grow more foliage and less flowers. So you're just going to end up with a big green bush that doesn't have any flowers. So it's also important to choose the correct fertilizer that is purely for hydrangeas. Normally you would find this with a picture of a hydrangea outside, and some fertilizers will also be specific on the color of the hydrangeas and the type of the hydrangeas. So you need to get what's going to work best for your type of plant. So tip number 5, in winter. In the cold climates, you need to protect your hydrangeas with a layer of mulch and some burlap in the winter so that you avoid frostbite or any other winter damage. South African winters have been particularly cold in the last few years, with some of our provinces experiencing frost and snow, which can really be bad for your hydrangeas. So you need to make a plan and cover the plants with a protective layer, like that frost cloth that they sell at your hardware shop. So during the cold months, you have to cover your hydrangeas. We've spoken about the most suitable soil for your hydrangeas, the perfect spot where you're going to put it in your garden, how you're going to water it, and how you're going to take care of it during those cold winter months. Now we must discuss pruning before summer comes. Don't be like me. You need to prune your hydrangeas in late winter or early spring before new growth appears. As you can see, I delayed my pruning, so I'm at a risk of cutting off some of the flower buds that we're going to grow into beautiful flowers for the upcoming year. When it comes to pruning, your flowering variety of hydrangeas, they should be pruned just a little bit, lightly here and there, removing only the dead wood. So my variety is a flowering variety, so I'm only removing the dead wood and the old flowers. So for non-flowering hydrangeas, you can prune them more heavily so that you can control the size and the shape. You make it look however you want it to look, and you remove all of the dead brown beads and the old flowers. Although I think these old flowers, they have a particular charm to them. I think they look so good and so rustic, but they must be pruned to make way for new growth. So pruning hydrangeas not only helps to maintain the size and the shape, but it also promotes healthier growth and more abundant blooms. When you're doing this pruning exercise, you must make sure that you use a sharp and clean pruning tool so that you lower the risk of spreading disease. So what I do, I spray some sanitizer on the scissors after every use so that I don't transfer diseases from another plant into my hydrangeas. By following these tips, I hope you can keep your hydrangeas healthy and in good condition all year round. Thank you for watching. If you have any other suggestions on how you take care of your hydrangeas, please feel free to share them in the comments section below. Please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos on gardening, plant care, and growing your own food. Thank you for taking the time to watch.